Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, you're now tuned into the Investor Show. So today's topic, we're going to talk about the three sectors that are poised to outperform the SP 500 in 2021. Now, we already know 2021 is here. We know what happened last year. So we're trying to look at what's going to outperform this year in 2021. So in this episode, we're going to talk about what is the SP 500. We're going to talk about an ETF versus the stock, and then I'm going to go through all three sections and tell you why and how you can invest into these three sectors and give you my thought process of why I think these companies are due to outperform the S&P 500 index. But ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already done so, go ahead, make sure.
Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, hit that like, comment, and share button.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, you are now tuned into the Investor Show. As always, this is your gracious host, the Prince of Investing, Prince Dykes, coming to you guys and girls live all the way from the beautiful city and state of Denver, Colorado. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share button. And as always, I don't have a lot of time, and I definitely know you guys and girls don't have a lot of time, so we're going to jump straight into it. So as you can see, today's topic, we're going to talk about the three sectors that are due to outperform the 2021 in my own humble opinion. Now, some people, I'm pretty sure I will miss some. I may be wrong on something, but I'm giving my thought process, all right? So the first thing, if you don't already know, we're going to talk about what is the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is the Standard & Poor's top 500 companies in America. These are companies like Google and Amazon and Berkshire Hathaway, household names, right? These are the top 500 companies in America. Tesla just got added to it. So that it's automatically adjusting itself to track the top 500 companies. For example, Blockbuster would have dropped 20 years ago. Netflix would have been added. Things change, time change. The S&P 500 is the benchmark of investing. What I mean by the benchmark, if anybody brings an investment to me, I'm going to compare it to the S&P 500. So for prime example, if your portfolio, you should be tracking it with the S&P 500. Are you over or underperforming? Are you on par? With every investment, that's the way I look at it. It's the benchmark of finance, S&P 500. Now, it might be some people out there do some other crazy things, but this is the way I look at it. And over the last 100 years, it has returned 7 to 10% annually with all the great depressions and the crashes and all other things like that. So anyway, that's what the S&P 500 is. So, you know, the whole objective is if I have the S&P 500, if I have a portfolio, what are some things I can do to beat the S&P 500 or at least attempt to? What are some things that's going to possibly beat it? Because if I want to match the S&P 500, I can just buy an index fund, right? But here we go. Number one, my number one sector, I think and believe to beat the S&P 500 is cybersecurity. All right, Prince, why do you think cybersecurity? First of all, when you look at companies like your CrowdStrike and your Fortinet, these companies are piling in tons of money with little to no overhead. Why is that? Cybersecurity is continuing to grow. Think about it. All of our schools online, our banking is online, our lifestyle is online, radio is online, podcast is online, everything. Our livelihood is online. Healthcare, to reorder your prescriptions, they're done online. Our healthcare is done online. Our education is done online. Our money is online. Everything is online. So when you have everything online, guess what you're going to need? You're going to need cybersecurity. Your whole city, your hometown, or wherever you're from is ran off of online. What about the water in your city? What if somebody hacked the water in your city and turned off the water? What if somebody hacked the traffic lights? What if somebody hacked the lights, the power that comes to your house? What if somebody hacked your internet and shut it all down? These are things the government has to think of, because I believe the next war that will be fought against us, it won't be by somebody storming the beach or dropping a bomb. I think it's going to be done via biological or cyber. So as the necessity for internet becomes more prominent in our lives, you're going to need more and more cybersecurity. This field is set to grow. You have companies that are bringing in tons of money, and to provide cybersecurity is someone in their basement or garage with one building. It's not a whole lot of overhead. They don't need a whole lot of buildings and inventory and stuff and things like that. Their biggest asset is people. So cybersecurity. The way you can invest in a cybersecurity, the ETF is HACK, H-A-C-K. It's $60 today, right? So this is an ETF. We're going to get into the difference between an ETF and a stock a little bit later, but that's one way from that hack. If I had to pick an individual company, I would probably pick my momentum company is CrowdStrike. My financially strong company is Fortinet. So that's number one. Number two, y'all already know this if you follow me, it's going to be renewable energy. Renewable energy, green energy, or whatever the case may be. We all know if you own a house or if you're in the market, if you follow cars, the biggest talk of the town is always about, gasless cars, cars without batteries, not without batteries, but cars without gas, cars without fuels, getting away from our dependence on fuel. When you look at houses, how often do you have somebody trying to sell you solar panels? So if you own a house, they're trying to sell you a solar panel. If you go to buy a new car, most of the cars are going to at least be hybrid, if not completely electric. That's why you see the companies like Tesla taking off. So you see the government now with President Biden coming in office. What is his first thing? He's always about green. His cabinet is always about going green, getting into renewable energy. Also, look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The number one job within the next decade is a wind turbine technician. So if that's the number one job, they tell you they're expecting a lot of growth within this field within the next 10 years. So renewable energy, you have the administration that's pushing it. They are giving tax breaks and tax credits for companies to go green, for people to go green. And you even seen the California governor said that they're going to get rid of gas cars in 2030 or 2034. So that's a good indicator. Renewable energy is number two. Now, how can you invest in renewable energy? You have the ETF ICLN, which is trading for $31 today. The individual company that I like to roll with that just got put into the SP500 is Enphase, ENPH. So renewable energy is number two. All right, so we're going to roll into number three. Number three, it's not an industry I know a whole lot about, but number three, you guys and girls should already know, cannabis. Now, what we just had happen was, we're talking about what just happened. The Democrats have won the House, the Senate, and the presidency coming in a few days. And the number one thing they're going to have is renewable energy, right? Y'all give me 1 second. Y'all, I'm very, very sorry about that. I had to run to my son is taking a class today. He's taking a coding class, so I had to run over there to verify him taking his coding class while I was shooting this podcast. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me get back to it. Cannabis. We already know the Senate, the presidency, and the House is controlling the cannabis industry. So now that we see this, how can you invest into it? Now this is my wild card. I'm not very familiar with cannabis, but I know the ETF, you have MJ. I don't know a particular company I have picked yet. And the reason why, we had the CEO of Aurora Cannabis, not Aurora Cannabis, but Colorado Harvest Company. He came on and said one of the big hindrance of the cannabis industry is its ability to have the federal to be legalized federally. So for prime example, when you own a business, let's say if your business makes $100, and then you have the ability to write off all of your expenses, things like food, not food, but I mean things like inventory, losses for the company, rent, cell phone, whatever it took you to make that $100, you can write that off. And once you write that off, now you gross $100. Once you pay the bills, you net $50. Then you pay taxes on the $50. But right now, what's happening in the cannabis industry, since it's not federally legal, if the company pays $100, it has to pay taxes on $100. It can't even write off its business expenses because it's not federally legal. So imagine if the cannabis industry became federally legal, how would it change the game, right? So just that tax burden, these companies will be due to explode. So the ETF I'm looking at now is MJ. Haven't done a whole lot of extensive research in that, but that's the ETF. Now y'all heard me talk about ETFs and stocks. The ETF is an exchange traded fund. This is a way to track an entire sector. For a prime example, if I wanted to track the entire renewable energy sector, I can do that with the ETF, and it's less risky. It's less risky when you buy a stock. When you buy a stock, you're investing in one company versus an ETF. When you purchase a sector, it trades like a stock, but you're buying a basket. It takes the idea of a mutual fund, but trades like a stock, and it's passively managed. So you don't have to be the smartest person in the world and know the exact company. You can invest into the entire sector. All right. Hopefully that makes sense to you. We're going to do a quick recap. I'm sorry about that break I had to take, but you know how it is being a dad and a podcaster. Sometimes it gets a little crazy. But the first thing we talked about what was the SP500 and why do we care to beat it or match it. Then we talked about the number one was cybersecurity. As our dependents, think about it. I was at IHOP the other day, and nobody carries menus no more. So everybody, you have to scan it with your phone to look at a menu. So internet is becoming more and more prominent in the way we live and do business. And as that increases, you're going to need more and more on cybersecurity, right? Number two, you're going to need renewable energy. Everybody knows solar panels and electronic vehicles, and this whole industry is growing. Renewable energy is on the tab for not our Republicans, for the Democrats. The Democrats now control the government. They have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And one of the big things they've been talking about is renewable energy. The government is big on that because guess what? They can give out tax credits and all sorts of rebates to incentivize people to go green. So I think renewable energy is due to have a great year. Number three, this is my wild card, cannabis. Since we now have the Democrats controlling the House, the Senate, and the presidency, they can legalize marijuana, which would explode the cannabis industry. All right, well, that's my recap. Let me jump and see what you guys and girls are saying in the comments. Al, what's going on? He says, what's going on, Prince of Investment? What's going on, Al? Gary Weiler said, how you feel about Fintech? Fintech is another big one, but I think Fintech, in order for it to grow, cybersecurity has to grow. Fintech is financial and technology come together like our banking. They are set to explode like a company like Lemonade is in that space. But guess what? You're going to need cybersecurity for Fintech to explode. All right, Gary? Lucky's mom out of Jacksonville, Florida. She said, good afternoon. Yes, I'm watching my Tesla stock continue to rise. Nice. That is that whole entire renewable energy sector. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I got to get running. I thank you guys and girls for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share button. And until the next video, podcast, cartoon, or whatever else crazy you see me do around the globe, peace, be safe. I'm out. Thank you.